All right, Julia Bite, welcome, back to the Share Chair podcast. It was like only a month ago we talked for that actual podcast, and you were getting all kinds of excited for track season, really prepping for it, doing, a lot of work and training and on and on and on. And now
Yeah.
it's just crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Just a month ago, there was so much stuff I was looking forward to, and now all of it's just kind of gotten wiped out. Like track, I was supposed to go on a recruitment visit, even just school stuff in general. Like we were supposed to go on our BPA, we had our state finals. And then spring break, I was supposed to go with my family down to Florida. But yeah, I mean, it's for the better good of everyone around us. So it's kind of
How long?
sucks, but it makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. How long did it take you to get to that like it's for the better good mentality? Was that almost immediate? Did it take you a while to get there? Like what?
I mean, I kind of always knew that there was a reason that we were taking such extreme precautions. Like, as an entire country, everyone's supposed to be inside. A lot of states have shut down school for the rest of the year. But especially as like a senior in high school, I
Yeah,
still have those moments where I'm like, this isn't fair. Like, my generation, since we're not as affected by this virus, we could be selfish. We could be going out and still hanging out with friends, and we could be going to school if like some older teachers stayed home. Like, if we just quarantined all the older people who are or people with health problems that are more susceptible,
yeah,
but that's still like that wouldn't work. It's just sometimes you want to be a little selfish, and then you have to
yeah,
remind yourself like this is gonna work out in the end. Like everything's gonna happen like it's supposed to.
yeah. I get it, but then, no, I understand the urge to be selfish and to say I want all these senior rituals and senior experiences to happen, but ultimately, right? It's like reducing the amount of people you see and make contact with is the best way to fight it, I suppose. So
Yeah, I haven't seen my friends since March 13th. So, yeah, I've been doing a lot of FaceTiming, a lot of Google Hangouts, but it's just different when you're not able to see people in person.
yeah, can so I totally agree. I mean, like even running class, I've been really thankful for the participation, getting a lot of student involvement, some really great even work, you included in that, thoughtful responses, but there's still something missing. Can you pinpoint what that is?
Um, for
Well,
me,
and sorry, and I mean like not even necessarily class, but like you said, you're having all the conversations, but it's different than face to face. Like, why have you figured that out? Like, what's going on there?
I think I mean, I haven't quite figured out what it's like for my friends, but definitely for class, just when we have discussions on Schoology, it's a little different because just the speed at which it's going. It's like you post something, you have to like refresh to see when people are going to answer. But in class, like you're actually, sorry, um, talking to people and like you're able to see them. And it's just a little different. And then with my friends, I would say even when we're hanging out, oh my gosh, and like sitting on our phones and stuff.
Now, let's be clear to anyone who was watching. You have whittled this cough down to allergies.
Yeah, I promise I'm not sick. Um, I always get allergies this time of the year. Last year my eyes got super puffy. I stay home from school, but yeah. Anyway, um, what was I saying? Oh, about friends. Like even when we're
Right.
sitting there and we're just on our phones, it's just I think just being in close proximity with people is what
Yeah.
I'm missing.
Be,
Ooh, I am sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, so just to like let me press that just a little bit more. Like I'm really curious about that. Like what for you, what does that close proximity give? Like what is it that you feel when you're close to people?
I guess just more connection. I don't know, like Okay. My throat's just super tickly right now. I don't know what's going on. Um, I don't know. There's not really a way for me to put a name to it. It's just you're like closer with them. You're able to, I guess, just like reach over and like oh, tap on them. Like, oh, look at this. Like, this is super funny. Whatever.
Yeah,
Whereas on your like, if you're FaceTiming or on Google Hangouts or something, you're all just still sitting alone, like in your
yeah,
room.
yeah, yeah. The tapping becomes, hang on, I'll send this to you or I'll forward it to you, and it doesn't have the immediacy, you
Mhm.
know. Yeah, for me, Julia, that's kind of what I'm noticing. That's what I'm noticing too, like about school is like we can get good responses for sure, but there's that immediate like back and forth with peers and classmates. It turns out that the immediacy matters, you know. So yeah.
Mhm.
How are you spending your time with your family? Are you tapping
Um,
them on the shoulders instead, or are you like more distant from each other?
I say we're all still pretty distant. Like we're doing our own thing. We're doing a lot of family movie nights, like every single night. Um, a few nights ago, we had a 3 hour long game of Monopoly, which got very intense.
Tell
I
me
don't know.
you
I'd
won.
say what
Tell me you won.
I didn't. My dad did.
All
He
right.
gets very competitive with that game. Um, yeah, everyone's home. My dad's working from home now too, so all five of us are in the house together. So it's
Mhm.
definitely kind of weird to like get up and see that my dad's still home because normally he's gone when I wake up for school.
Okay.
But I don't know, it's just different. I mean, I would say we were. I mean, we're obviously forced to spend more time together, but everyone's still doing their own thing, which is kind of nice. It's like still some normalcy where we're all able to still go about our regular day.
Yeah, so I mean, just the fact of staying home changes the day a lot, but how has school been for you? I mean, have you been getting some work and
Um, well, mainly from you and then Mrs. Peterson for AP Spanish is where I'm getting the majority of my work because um goodness gracious. For a lot of my classes they're posting things on a weekly basis instead of a daily basis. So
okay,
I'm able to get it all done at the beginning of the week. But I think that yeah, English and Spanish are where we're able to keep most in touch with each other
hmm,
because we've been like FaceTiming in a few of my classes. Like we'll do Google Hangouts or Google Meetups. We did that in your class. So I'd say definitely staying connected in those classes, but my other ones not as much.
not as much, yeah. Yeah. What class are you missing the most right now? With zero pressure I mean, don't even put English in the equation. I don't want to, because
Um,
of course you'd say English. We all know that,
I don't know. I think well, I would probably say AP Spanish or IB English just because um that's probably where I have my most interaction with people.
Okay.
Our Spanish class, we have a lot of fun together. I miss a lot of the people in that class. And then English, we always get to talking and like we can talk about other things that aren't really related to school, which is nice. And then, but my other three classes, like two of them are online, so I don't see anyone. And then one
Oh,
of them is just a math class, so we're not really talking that much. We're more doing notes. So
okay.
yeah, definitely those two classes
Uh,
would be the
it,
ones that I miss.
the online classes, is that through a local community college or
Yeah, that's dual enrollment through MCC. So they're kind of both going on as normal right now.
yeah.
It's just those professors' in person classes are suspended right now.
Okay. And what classes are those?
Let me think. What are they called? I'm taking anthropology, and right now I'm writing a super long essay. I'm about halfway through, but I'm 6 pages in, so it's pretty long, keeping me busy. And then there's one called Fundamentals of Healthcare Delivery because I want to go into something in the medical field, so I wanted to take some sort of class that had to deal with that.
Cool.
And so far, I'm really liking it, but it's more about like office management rather than actually doing like a physician or a physician assistant thing, which makes sense because it's a class they offer to high schoolers.
Yeah, and maybe it's just good, like right, start at a wide base, and then you can kind of
Hmm.
work from there. So maybe that makes some sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Julia, when I think about the seniors, I guess it makes me really sad. I mean, and you see that all over Facebook and Instagram and everywhere. A lot of people are paying attention to the seniors. And of course, we don't know how the end of the year is going to look. I mean, we don't know all of the details yet, but obviously, you would have been into track season already. Obviously, you're now missing spring break, as you mentioned. Um, what effect do you think that's going to have on your like perception of school, or I don't know. I guess I'm wondering, like, yeah, how are you thinking about all the things you're going to be missing right now? Oh,
Well, hi. Obviously,
we have a
we're
clean
missing.
coffee pot.
Hi, Mrs. Tooney. Um, I would say, obviously, this is something that we're never going to forget, especially as class of 2020, because not only are we missing like spring sports, but we're missing like our senior skip day, our senior
Yeah,
prank, um, all sorts of stuff with that. Like we got our senior all nighter, which was good, but I guess this trimester is kind of the most fun part of senior year.
yeah,
So um, definitely missing that, but I guess this will kind of help me to realize like not to take things for granted.
yeah,
And this is what like I'm gonna tell my siblings and stuff too is don't wish it away because like there'll be mornings you wake up and you're like, I don't want to go to school, I want to skip, can I skip? And but then stuff like this just comes out of nowhere and then all of a sudden like everything you've looked forward to, everything that you've kind of been working for or like maybe you didn't know when you were younger, but since you started kindergarten up till now, like this graduation, moving on to the next part of your life, like this is what it's all built up to be now. It's kind of been taken away for a lot of us.
So I definitely understand that sense of it being taken away. But if we were if we pretended we were at the end, if this were happening, if I gave you the opportunity to give a 3 minute graduation speech, or something like that, what would that look like? I mean, when you reflect back on your 12 years, I mean, there's no doubt this last, what, couple of weeks and what will last, at minimum 2 more weeks, um, is going to affect your view of schooling. But what about all the good parts? Like when you reflect back on your education, yeah, what really stands out?
Uh, I'm I'm really grateful that this even happened if it had to happen that it happened later this year because if I'd missed out on the majority like if it happened earlier and I was missing out on my entire senior year, that would have definitely, I think, been a little worse because there would have been even more that you were missing out on. Um, this class, I mean, obviously I'm biased because it's my graduating class, but I feel like our class, we have a lot going for us. Like, I look around at my classmates and I can see a lot of them are going places in the future. Like, I can see, I'm just to bring up Maya McDermott for an example. She is going to Notre Dame next year and it's huge and like that's amazing and she's going to do so many great things. Or then you have someone like Clayton Glasgow or Troy Severson who like I could see either one of them becoming like president someday, like or just like one of the good ones, obviously. But we just have a lot of really awesome people and it makes me sad that this is happening to our class, but I would also just want to tell everyone like thanks for the past 10, 11, 12 years that I got to spend with you. Like, I wouldn't have traded any of it. I love my class. I would have never wanted to switch. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to be like, oh, I wish I was a junior this year because then I'd still have senior year. Like, I
Yeah,
wouldn't trade the people that I've been going to school with for any of this.
yeah, yeah. What are some of the traits of the entire class that you really admire? I love that you highlighted a few particular. peers of yours, but how about as a whole? Like, what have been some of the traits that you've loved?
Just some things that I've been seeing a lot more over the past couple of years is our class is very open, like to talking to just different people. Like obviously everyone has their little friend groups that they hang out with, and like
Mhm.
you associate them with those other people. That's who they hang out with outside of school. But everyone's very open to just meeting new people and talking to different people. Like this year, in the podcast that I did, I talked about how Maddie Ball and I got a lot closer, and then that kind of opened up chance for me to get to know Kyle Kuhn, who's also a super awesome person. It's just that kind of mindset that our class has of just like, oh yeah, like let's be friends, let's hang out in class, like maybe we'll hang out outside of school, let's just get to know each other. I really love that about them. And then I guess another thing would be uh the work ethic. I mean, that's kind of cheesy, but a lot of the kids in our class have worked super hard for where they are. Like
Yeah,
Maya McDermott is in Notre Dame. She worked super hard for that. And then our class had a lot of acceptances to some like really good schools. Like there's a lot of acceptances to U of M, which is awesome. And
yeah,
just I can tell that everyone has worked super hard for what they've gotten. Like no one has really coasted that much through high school.
yeah, yeah. So how about on the other side of this? Let's fast forward to middle of June or July, or whenever when all of a sudden people are kind of going like, wow, okay, well we got through that. What do you anticipate the summer to be like in regards to your friends, in regards to the last month and a half before you go off to college? How do you envision the summer?
Well, hi. I was supposed to go on a trip to Spain and France this summer in
Yeah.
June. So we're not sure how that's gonna turn out, but oh, I don't know. My mom distracted me. I kind of forgot what you asked.
I was just curious about how you see the summer, like
Oh,
when we're
yeah,
past.
I don't know. I'm an optimistic person, but also when something like this happens, I have to be a little bit more realistic. And I'm hearing from a lot of people that this might keep going until like July, but it'll just be like lesser, like on a lesser scale. So I can tell like this is going to be something that kind of changes the world for a while. And I don't see things really returning back to like complete normalcy for a while.
Hmm.
But I can see the summer, like things are going to start looking up, especially because people are going to be in the sun more. It's going to be warmer. Hopefully, that's killing off the virus.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that it'll go away by then, but we'll just have to see. We'll have to keep hoping and hoping that people are following the rules and staying in quarantine and stuff.
yeah, yeah. I get it. I mean, that's right. Hey, so Julia, I think usually we end the podcast by asking, if you had one piece of advice, but because of the unique circumstances, here's the slightly different question I'll end with. Okay. If you had one piece of advice for seniors specifically, what would that piece of advice be?
Hmm. Reflect on everything that you've already been able to accomplish and be grateful that we've gotten this far, and rely on each other and your family right now as your support to get through this, and know that while things aren't happening for us like they did for the classes before us or will after us, this will be something that defines us, and we're going to get through it. Things are going to work out like they're supposed to.
Yeah, yeah, those are great words. Thanks, Julia. And
Mm-hmm.
it's weird. I have to say, it's just so weird to talk to you digitally. I miss seeing you.
Yeah, I miss class too. I want to be
And
in school. It's weird. For my birthday, I'm wishing to go back to school.
yeah,
It's not normally something that I'd hope for, but yeah.
when is your birthday?
April 14th, and right now our date to come back is the 13th. So I'm hoping. Yeah,
Okay.
fingers crossed.
Okay. All right. Thanks. And I look forward to the time, whenever it is, to see you again. All right.
Mhm.
All right. See you, Julia.
Bye.